YouTube, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Omar, and we here talk about the Magic. I'm here with my boy Josh. How you doing,
How's it
Josh?
going, bro? I'm doing good, man. How about you?
I've been better. Watching this team has been very frustrating lately, and I've personally gotten to the point where it's like I'm not even mad anymore. It's just like upon a realization, it sucks that there's just not much this roster can do anymore. And AG going down, that was just like the final blow.
No, that definitely was. It hurt, but who's the next man up?
There isn't. There's no one else left at that power forward spot.
Hey, man, Bamba.
We'll talk about Mo later.
Yeah,
Gary Clark you saw the picture of Gordon walking out of the arena on crutches.
I did.
That ankle looks swollen. Gordon's likely to be out for probably like a month if we're being honest. We're gonna look at Gary Clark starting at the four. Then there's really no one else. Aminu's still out. Chuma's still out. Ennis has got to run the backup four. There's not a backup point guard anymore on this roster till MCW comes back. This roster is depleted to the point. Like Keith Smith made a good point. He was like, there's usually a team that just like barrels out from the playoffs from the previous year. It looked like it was going to probably be Toronto or Miami, but the injuries have made it very clear that those teams are going to recover, and it's just going to be Orlando for a year. And I'm just taking the hate now, and when this team is healthy again next year, I want to hear all these people say these same things that they wanted to run during this year. Okay, I also need to ask you this: what do you think of Kyle Lowry? Because I've been getting a lot of hate for saying that at this point that so you can only consider so many things coincidences until it's a trend.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't see the cheap shot apparently he took at Gordon, like something involving the knees or bumping knees. I didn't see that. But I originally saw Aaron Gordon push Lowry to the ground, and then I knew something bad was gonna happen this game. I just felt that like, okay, someone's gonna go down. And then I heard about what Kyle Lowry did, and I'm like, I'm not even surprised at this point. He just tries to injure Aaron Gordon whenever he doesn't realize he took out a player from playing from the playoffs. And
And
as a
and
player, you're just mhm.
no, go.
As a player, you're just trying to play in the playoffs because that's when you elevate your game. And he literally just took him out and didn't. I don't remember seeing him show any sportsmanship or anything. He just left and acted as if he did nothing. So to see him do something similar tonight was just uncalled for.
Yeah, I mean, and if people also forget that he did the same thing to Jalen Brown, where in the bubble Brown put it up and he undercut him, and Brown landed straight on his back. But Kyle Lowry, that's just the player he is. He's just hardworking. And Aaron Gordon, like I also thought originally it was just Gordon getting back at him for what he did in the ball. But the play in question was that Kyle Lowry saw that Gordon was behind him, and as a box out, he aimed and went into his knee. So Gordon laid him flat out. I applaud Aaron Gordon. I usually agree a lot with what Philip says. You could call it selfish, whatever you want. If you're a grown man and you got aimed at twice already, you're going to lay him out.
Mm.
I applaud AG, and I really hope the NBA looks at Kyle Lowry in the same light that they want to look at Draymond Green through that playoff run.
It's like it was just unnecessary, and you could seriously injure something. Like what Aaron Gordon did, he just shoved him down. What Kyle Lowry was trying to do for Aaron Gordon was literally just trying to take him out, injure him, seriously injure him, and that's not basketball. That's not why you play the game.
Yeah,
I know
and
these two have beef,
yeah,
but you could seriously injure somebody, and now we're gonna see what's wrong with Aaron Gordon when he gets his MRI and see how long he's out for.
I really hope it's not. I really hope it's not nothing anything serious. But it's just gonna take time.
Bro, the
And
way he left the arena,
just
the way he left the court, to be honest, was like, oh god, like
And it's also that when it comes to Lowry, I've personally never been the biggest fan because he always plays with a flawed mentality. But a lot of players do it, so it's fine, it's whatever. It's just not the way I would prefer to play it. Same thing with Harden, you're gonna play into the rules and you're gonna get the calls what you want. That's what makes some players great, is the ability to manipulate the rules. But what Lowry's been doing is completely out of hand. And what Gordon did, yes, on its own, it's bad. But like considering what Kyle Lowry's tried to do, Aaron Gordon was he just like he put a shoulder into him and laid him out. It
And
is what
he
it is.
pulled his hand up afterwards and was like, okay, yo, that's my bad. I knew what I did. Like,
And it is what it is. Now this team stands at 8-12. I think it's 8-12.
8-12, yeah.
Um, there's a lot of bad losses. That loss at Sacramento was bad. That team just looks like they didn't want to be there. But I'm also not gonna stay here and pretend like Sacramento didn't have 5 days off due to postponements, and they just had more energy, more pressure. It is what it is. I'm not gonna hold Orlando like I ain't gonna hold them accountable, but I can't just sit here and pretend like Orlando hasn't come that break and Sacramento just had the practice time to be ready, refreshed, and just more cleaner on the details.
The fact of the matter is, we can't even use injuries as an excuse anymore. Because when you're in games and you're in close situations and you have the lead and you it's like a close game, you can't use injuries as an excuse anymore because you're in the game. It's just that you're not executing plays right, you're not hitting open shots. That's how we're losing games, not because we have injuries.
But
Injuries are
again,
not an
eh,
excuse
but
anymore.
again, if I'm gonna say I somewhat agree there, but if you also want to look at the injuries, you also have to realize that those players are gonna be out. They're not supposed to be in late game situations anyways.
Mm-hmm.
If Gary Clark, like we're Mark Cole Anthony should have to bury like he's been great. Don't get me wrong, the last couple of weeks, but he shouldn't have to care. He shouldn't have to be a point guard at already of a late game situation, especially when you're being guarded by Terry Rozier. It was going to happen. Without AG, you couldn't have just depended on Gary Clark to guard Gordon Hayward. It wasn't going to end well.
Mm-hmm.
In the Sacramento game, it was never close. So it's just I don't know. And I so just the biggest point I want to talk about this episode was I've tried very hard to argue that this team should compete. But at a certain point, you can only do so much because the bench unit is gonna look very, very bad against Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
You're taking out you're probably taking out Dwayne Bacon from the bench unit or Clark or whatever you want to do. Jordan Bone's gonna have to go back to playing significant minutes. And it's for the rest of the year, what can you really do if injuries are just gonna keep on piling on?
I've been thinking we should just let the young guys start. I I've been a fan since 2013, and that's when they traded for Vooch. And I've loved seeing this guy grow with our team, but we got to trade him. His value is so high that contenders are going to want this guy, and we can get a lot in return. We should trade Fournier. We should trade Gordon. I don't like his development. He's had the time. It's not like he's been in the league 2 or 3 years. He's been in it for a long time. His free throws have managed to gotten worse with time. He hasn't developed a 3-point shot. He doesn't look strong in the paint. He has no post game. I I don't. He's elevated his playmaking, but what does that do? He's not really a point guard. He can run it at times, but he's not a natural point guard. We need a rebuild. We need a tank. Not tank, but we need a high draft pick. Not to draft somebody or just make a big trade in the off season. I think this season is a lost season. Injuries have played a major part, but we're not getting better than we already are right now. We've seen what we are at our best, and that's just decent. So I think we should
Um,
make a trade and get rid of those players.
So you hinted at the three players that are left from the Hennigan era: AG, Evan, and Vooch. Let's go through the three. I'm gonna start with Evan. Fortunately, I'm gonna give Evan credit when his team was relatively healthy. He looked great in his new role, and there was nothing I was gonna hold against him. But at this point in time, I think you first you run it through Vooch. I think at this point, you Vooch deserves to be part of this discussion. And if he still wants to compete, then you just keep him and just try. But if Vooch is willing to just, because this Vooch in his prime right now, it wouldn't be right just to hold him hostage for a year and have him struggle to fight and play. Because this is his best year I've ever seen him play. So, but honestly, if we're just not considering Vooch, I think it's just time to move Evan now. And because I don't know. You usually play young guys like there's no young guy left to put into that shooting guard spot. It's just not on this roster anymore. AG, I can't because AG he was never going to be the number one option. But again, when we saw the team relative healthy, him playing in his own role, he looked great. He's still shooting around 34% from three, which is I'll take that from Aaron Gordon. His defense has been elite this year. I'll take that from AG. Yeah, his free throw hasn't been great, but that's like the one thing that I've had a problem with Gordon has been his free throw shooting. But he was never gonna be perfect, and I'm not gonna hold him when he's trying to play outside of the role. It's the same thing I was never gonna hold Fournier against. If he's gonna play outside of the role, people are not gonna be happy what they see. But you can't blame players for having to play outside of the role and then struggle in that role. Aaron Gordon looked great to play point guard, but once teams figured out he doesn't have that great of a handle to go run point, let's put pressure, and then the offense just went right down to what it was when Fultz went down. It is what it is. I still think Gordon can be part of the future, and then Vooch. Um, it's been clear that teams are not going to give up what Vooch demands. No one's going to give us a multitude of first round picks and young guys for Vucevic. It's just not gonna happen. He's he. I don't know for whatever reason he maybe he's just not athletic, but teams have teams just don't teams look at Orlando still for whatever reason think they can abuse smaller market teams. It's the same thing with Cleveland that they're just gonna take the financial burden of just waving Drummond. Like that's not gonna happen. You're not gonna abuse small market teams that are on the right trajectory. You do that to teams that are on the way down. It's not going to happen to these teams. I just don't see Orlando moving Vooch if the price isn't right. So I personally think Gordon and Vooch are going to be on this team by the end of the year. But Evan, I think at a point, you do right by Evan and just trade him to one of the teams he would like to go to. But I think at this point, you just let it play out how it plays out because we're seeing no matter what this team tries to do, they're just not good enough to win games. And it sucks that there are talented players, but these players don't fit well together, considering the players that are out.
And
That's what I think.
something we talked about on when I was recently on your channel is that we were okay if Vucevic took a 6-man role and let Bamba start. But the problem is, coach loves Ken Birch, and he's gonna find minutes for this guy, and he's gonna prioritize him. And I'm scared because even if Bamba does show growth and development, he's he's gonna be in this messed up situation with Vucevic, Birch, and now Bamba, and it's not gonna end well for somebody. And that's why I wanted to get rid of Vooch because as much as I love the guy, we need Bamba to be the center of the future, not Vooch. And I Vooch, he's a guy who can put up 25 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists any given night. That's not helping and I know there's injuries and everything. It's just not helping this team right now. And it's showing the holes and gaps that this team deals with, even when we have a healthy roster. The team doesn't look fun to watch. Even when Markel was healthy, even when we were winning games, we didn't have the sexiest offense. We had a great defense,
Oh,
but
I
nothing ever,
don't. our defense wasn't great. I don't know where you.
It
Our
was decent.
defense was not great.
It was decent. It was better than what it was right now.
Our offense was pretty decent considering
Mm-hmm.
it was top 15 in the league if I remember correctly, and a lot of that has to do with the high pace of Orlando's offense. At least when I was talking to other people that aren't Orlando Magic fans, they said the high pace offense was actually fun to watch. Watching Gordon able to play off the ball, for not the ball not sticking with Evan. When this team's healthy, the offense isn't boggled down. It's just that no one here that's left on the roster can run the offense. And now that you want to talk about Mo, I don't know anymore. I really try to defend Cliff on this. I just don't know why Mo doesn't play. He looks great in the time. He scored 7 points in the 3 minutes he
He
played.
was perfect today.
And I do want to say this. Cam has played amazing, and I get that you don't want to just take him out of the rotation. But at this point, just put Cam at the 4. He's shown you he can play at the 4. That's one thing I want to give credit to Cliff. He figured out how to play Birch and Vooch together. So just do it. Put Birch at the 4. Birch looks comfortable taking corner 3, so stick him in a corner in offense. Let him roll. It's fine. Just put him at. I don't care anymore. Just put him at the 4. Just play Mo. Let him develop. It's just getting to a point that Mo has to, because Mo has the elite skill of being a shot blocker, and he has the ability to spread out the floor, and that's what's gonna make this team very good down the line when you get other guys back. But Mo's not gonna develop. That was the one thing. That was the one tiny silver lining from Markel going down. If you really want to look forward, was that Cole Anthony was going to be progressive and have already starters minutes played in games. That was the one silver lining. But if you're not going to play Mo Bamba, you won't be able to say the same thing for Mo next year. In fact, he's going to have to be playing through what realistically saying a sophomore year. And
And
it's
the thing is, like, Bamba, he's shown in the limited minutes what he can do. I don't know why coach isn't playing him. Is he sick? Is there something going on with him that we don't know about that they don't want the fans to know about? But it's getting annoying. And we just want to see him play. Let the guy play. If he's I don't know why you would pick up his option if you had no plans to play him. It made no sense salary wise for the team's sake. I mean, you just you let another player in the rotation get out for no reason. And I don't understand. Bamba has shown that he can do it. He's shown he's matured. He knows what it takes to be a professional NBA player. We've seen what he can do in the limited minutes. Let this guy have an expanded role. Gordon's out now too. Who the hell is he gonna play now? He has no choice but to play
man,
Bamba.
I don't know.
At least that's what we hope.
Um, yeah. So two, I so the Ozone podcast they made a great point. It's that at this point, it's looking like Bamba might have the same fate as Elfrid Payton, where it's
Don't
gonna
say that.
where it's
Don't
gonna
say
get to
that.
a point where if the Magic don't play him, Bama's gonna lose all his value, and the Magic's gonna. And if you've seen EP lately, he looks
Oh,
pretty
he's
good
nice.
in New York.
Mm.
Orlando's gonna lose Mo for a second rounder, and then he's gonna explode somewhere else.
Mm. Well, better not be New York.
That's the trend. That's the trend of Mo Bamba right now. Orlando's not gonna
He
develop
better
him.
not go to Houston. I'm not seeing this guy play with Victor Oladipo in Houston. No, 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 no. He better not go to Indiana where DeMontis Sabonis is either. Hell no.
I'm telling you the way this is looking is that if Orlando does, I want Mo. I want to give Mo the chance. And if Mo does not get the chance, he's gonna lose all value. Orlando's gonna have to move him for just a roster spot down the line, and they're gonna lose him for a second rounder, and he's gonna play extremely well somewhere else.
That's the point. Like, why are we in the lottery if we don't make players a vocal part of our team? You draft a guy like Mo Bamba with the sixth overall pick, and yeah, he wasn't great in his rookie year, and he went through some injuries and COVID in his second year. But if you're not like trying to develop these guys into being an
I don't.
integral part of your team, why are they on your team? You know what I respect the Bulls and the Hawks is because even though they've had many losing seasons, They've developed their young guys. Zach Levine, Kobe White, Laurie Markkinen are the guys leading the Bulls, not some 30-year-olds or late 20-year-olds. Trey Young, John Collins, Kevin Herter, some other guys, they're the ones leading the Hawks, not some old veterans. They're young players are the ones leading them to wins, showing that they have a bright future. What are we showing? Vucevic, who's in his 30s, being the star of the team, Evan Fournier, Terrence Ross. It shouldn't be like that. It should be our young guys.
Yeah, I'm surprised DeAndre Hunter has that big of a run in Atlanta. He's playing great in that role. And I get it. Orlando's young guys that they were gonna led by was Markel, and it was working. But Orlando's really getting to a point where like you're acting like you don't have the 6th overall pick on your bench at the end of your bench. It's getting to a point you're either gonna tell us that something's wrong, or you're gonna tell us what's wrong, or you're just gonna lead to what fans are doing right now, and they're assuming the worst. That it's either a problem in the locker room or there's something wrong with Bamba.
And you brought it up last time. You were saying, where has tanking gotten us? We were one pick away from Joel Embiid. We were one pick away from Kristaps Porzingis.
One pick away from Trae Young.
Sorry?
One pick away from Trae Young.
One pick away from Trae Young. We were supposed to get the first overall pick in the 2013 draft. We got lucky with Victor Oladipo, but I'm just talking about our odds. Like, we always try to tank, and where the hell has that gotten us?
Especially with the odds now. The odds now don't guarantee you a damn thing.
Anything, exactly.
The Pelicans to get Zion jumped. Mm-hmm. The Lakers to get the rights to DeAndre Hunter jumped. I'm waiting for Orlando to lose all these games, get a top 3 chance because they're even at 14%. It's not even 25 anymore. It's 14%, and then fall to pick 5.
I like our young core the way it is. Like we were talking about before, like I don't think we need any more young players from the draft. It's just a matter of getting everyone healthy, giving them a system and where they can develop. How the hell is Cole Anthony supposed to develop when Fournier's on this team? Or Markel, because he takes touches away. And you were right, he was playing off the ball at the beginning of the season, and it looked pretty good. But now we've gone back to that Fournier-Vucevic connection only, and where's that gone us?
And I get it, what Cliff is doing, and it kind of makes sense to me that not necessarily playing through Cole, but letting Cole play off ball and play as a scorer. Cole looks more comfortable, and maybe as the season goes on, he'll initiate a little bit more of the offense, and I respect that. And I'm just saying I wouldn't be as because I get it. That's how development works. I wouldn't be as frustrated as I am now if we were doing the same thing with Mo. If Mo is playing, I wouldn't have this much of a problem. My problem is that Orlando is not being directed with one choice. You're either going to compete or you're either going to let the young guys play. You have to choose one or the other.
Exactly. We don't have like a clear future because right now we're stuck with, okay, do we go young? Do we go old and try and compete? Even though we're not going anywhere, especially this season. It's kind of like what I've heard before. We have these players that are stuck in the old regime where we think mediocrity is okay, or I don't know if I said that word right, but it's just okay to stay mediocre. And it's not, because we're supposed to be better than that. That's the whole reason you tank and get young players, so you let them lead your team. Not so Cole Anthony, Aaron Gordon, Jonathan Isaac, Markel can do their thing and then have Vooch as your main option and have Fournier there. Like, it doesn't work. It's not the right system.
And the one thing I would say to that is that Vooch, Orlando, this is the first time in Vooch's career that they've played through him or made plays for him. Vooch has never been one to average 20 shots a game. He's never done that. It's always been run the offense through him because he's a willing passer and make it easy for other guys, which I have no problem with. But if you want to compete, which I can get, I'm all for competing. But if you're gonna do that, get a damn backup point guard. You got all these disabled exceptions. Do something with them. Isaiah Thomas has been looking for an opportunity. Do something. That's gonna lead that makes you solidify that we're not gonna tank. We're going to compete. Stop staying in this middle ground and just and leave it up to fate. Just don't do that. If you want to go young, go young. Play Mo 20 minutes a night. When Okiki starts, put him into the starting lineup. Let them play through mistakes for a year. Just choose one. And if Orlando ends up with a top 5 pick, so be it. And they can get like a Jalen Green, Kate Cunningham, Jalen Suggs, or something. So be it. But just choose one route or the other. What's frustrating to a lot of Magic fans, it's the fact that they're not choosing. They're just staying and keeping pace. Just make the decision.
One thing I was also thinking was that I wouldn't mind if Cole Anthony and Chuma when he gets healthy, and we saw Bamba, and maybe one day Aaron Gordon if he comes back in the near future. I want to see the young guys starting because I wouldn't mind if we were losing while seeing our young guys
Exactly.
develop. Because what's the difference now and the lineup I just said? We'd still be losing, but at least we would see our young guys develop.
Exactly.
So
That
we
that's
don't lose anything. So
that's my problem with Detroit. Detroit's losing these games, but Wayne Ellington's playing 35 minutes a game. CD Bay's playing 10 minutes a game. Because I've been looking because I've been keeping track of the minutes log. Um, Seiko Dumboya
he looks nice.
playing
That guy looks nice.
15 minutes a game. Then we have, and here comes, I get it. Killian Hayes is out, so that's why D Rose is playing that many minutes.
He was also looking nice too.
You have
Killian Hayes.
Isaiah Stewart playing 10 minutes a night. Then you have Dan Mason Plumlee playing third, like 25. Why? If you're going to lose games, just let your young guys play.
Let your young guys do it.
If
Exactly.
you're
It's
bad,
all about growing pains.
if you're gonna be bad enough to lose games anyways, just let your young guys play out and let it be.
That's how they learn from growing pains. You gotta be able look at LA. What did they do? They suffered for so many years. But you know what I give them credit for? They knew how to develop their young guys. And now look, they've blossomed in other places, not because they couldn't develop there, but because they wanted to win now. So they traded the young assets who showed the whole league that they have bright futures.
I wouldn't agree that because New Orleans isn't looking that great. They're struggling for
I
whatever
mean,
reason,
Zion, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo.
and for some reason they don't have the greatest record. Again, I'm still a firm believer that young guys grow best in winning situations,
Mhm.
but the winning situation isn't always there. And sometimes you can try all you want, and I'm part of the camp that says compete, compete, compete. Let Cole play meaningful games, let Chuma play meaningful games. But if your roster's so injury destroyed and decimated to the point that you can't win, that you can't compete with Sacramento, and bro, what Sacramento is gonna do to our defense in a couple of days, twice in back-to-back days, it's gonna be something that you just have to at a certain point be like, it is what it is. Because clearly they don't want to compete. Clearly they're not 100% committed to competing because they haven't made a move to help this roster out. So just to make the move to let Cole, if you just trade Evan to a contender, that's what he wanted before the year started. We saw that come out. They looked at Denver and with other teams. Send and let Chuma play 25 to 30 minutes a night. Let AG go back to his four. Let Cole go through his struggles. And at that point, Cole would have learned, and then he wouldn't be the starting point guard. He'd be at the starting two spot next to Markel the following year.
What if I said that we could make the play-in tournament this year, even if we traded Fournier by the deadline? I believe we could.
So
If we became healthy by the trade deadline, depending on where our record is, I believe we can fight for that play-in tournament.
yeah, I completely agree that if you trade Evan and just put and bring in a shooter, any type of shooter, then yeah, then I think Cole, you would have the space. You would have Chuma back. MCW is actually a veteran point guard back on the roster, healthy. Hopefully, Mo would be playing by then.
Hopefully, hopefully. The
But
way we said hopefully was like
I also don't want to go there, play New York in the play-in, and then watch Emmanuel quickly and RJ Barrett just destroy us either. But
Tom Thibodeau's a good coach.
again, if that's what it's gonna take to play Cole Anthony and Chimuki in meaningful games, then so be it.
Mm-hmm.
But if that's the route they're gonna take, use your damn injury exceptions. Gary Clark isn't. I love what Gary does. What he plays a lot like Kem, who goes for hustle, rebounds, like he gets offensive rebounds, creates more plays. But you could move him to create a roster spot and use a trade exception to take in more money and actually compete. If you're gonna do that route, then do that. But again, if you're not, just go in the opposite direction. Just don't stay in the middle where you're gonna get the 11th seed and don't get either one. That's all.
Yeah, I never thought Gary Clark had a future on this team. I don't know why we brought him back.
Bet you.
I swear Bacon takes the most stupidest shot. I don't know who this guy thinks he is, but he tries to take the most. Just take some badass shots, and I'm thinking, what's wrong with this guy?
I feel so bad for Cole Anthony, James Ennis, and Dwayne Bacon for the fact that they get hit so many times in the lane, and they can't get calls to save their lives. That's the thing with Dwayne Bacon. When I see Dwayne Bacon drive, I don't care what the shot that he's getting because he's getting fouled. He just never gets the call. Mm-hmm. So I never take shots at Bacon there. I just thought he was a bit. I just thought that he would actually be able to get calls. He's getting treated like a rookie by the referees. That's what it looked like to me. But I just think it's time for Orlando to choose which route they're gonna take.
Do you think Mo requests a trade if things continue the way it does?
I don't know. That's maybe he does. I think by the trade deadline, if he's not getting regular minutes, then I think he might.
Man, I hope not.
And if that happens,
I really believe in this guy.
And if that happens, that might create an issue with Cole Anthony.
No doubt. That's what I'm saying. Mo has shown in the minutes he's gotten, he can do it. Just unleash the guy, let him play.
Exactly. Like I missed the Washington Wizards Brooklyn ending because I wanted to watch Mo play.
You wanted to watch him play like 3 minutes. You needed that. I needed that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, damn, like I want to turn it off and just watch that game, but they don't put in Mo otherwise. All right, so I think the main thing, because I think the Magic, I think Orlando, I think especially just Magic fans in general, just split 50-50 on what they want to do with the team. But I think once the franchise, the front office decides in what direction they go, I think they're just going to get behind the team again. And because the front office idea, what they built worked. It's going to work. I've seen enough flashes when they're healthy. It's going to work. But to amplify that plan, you can't stay in the middle. Whether Cole Anthony and Chuma and Mo and AG become better because they're going to play meaningful games later down the year, or you're going to add a Green, a Cunningham, a Suggs, or whatever to this team for next year. Either or, just don't get the 11 seed and get pick 10, pick 11 again. That's just the last thing I want to say. I think they just got to choose.
Yeah, they got to choose, and it has to be before the deadline. They have to be smart about this.
Yeah, I think they have to make a choice at the deadline of what they're gonna do. And if that's just trading away Evan and keeping Vooch and AG, I'm good with it.
If you had to trade Vooch or AG, who would it be? If one of them had to go.
If one had to, I think you would be able. I think if you move AG, that would be a blockbuster deal. Orlando would get done, and I think that also takes away a lot of the young pieces on this team because I think I think the trade AG is going to end up going in what is going to be a big deal first for a star already. That's going to go with either Vooch with JI when he comes back or whatever combination Orlando gives up. That's the deal I think AG is going to go in. Because Orlando's made it clear they're not going to give up on AG just for Kelly Oubre or just Trevor Reese. They're not going to do it.
Yeah.
All right, and to wrap it up, we got not Sacramento. We have Toronto again, and then we have Chicago twice. What's the record for those 2 games?
I'm gonna go best case scenario, 2-1. I think we lose against Toronto. I think we win both against Chicago. I don't see how we beat Toronto without Aaron Gordon. It's just facts. We don't have enough firepower. We don't even have defense without Aaron Gordon. Like, bro, we got Fournier and Vucevic leading our defense right now. That should say something. So I say we lose against Toronto, but I say we take both against the Bulls. I think those are 2 we need to win. If we don't win, changes are coming after those games. I'm telling you right now. I'm calling it right now.
Okay, so Cleveland also is spiraling out of control. They lost to Minnesota tonight. They're also losing a lot of these games. I really want to say 0-3. I really think they're gonna go 0-3. I have a feeling they're gonna go 0-3, but I think they lose to Toronto. I think they go 1-2. I think they lose to Toronto split against Chicago.
Nothing.
I think that's just because I think
you hope we split against Chicago.
Because again, Orlando's defense is not great, especially without AG. Zach LaVine's gonna have a field day. Kobe White is gonna have a pretty good, decent game. Otto Porter's a veteran off their bench. Chicago has a pretty good team, and off the slow start, they're getting it together. And I think Chicago. I think they're gonna go 1-2. I think they're gonna split against Chicago and lose to Toronto.
All right. Okay.
All right. That's gonna wrap it up. Josh's IG will be in the description down below. See you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.